Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, Maricopa County Attorney Rachel Mitchell joins us to talk about, among other things, scams to watch out for this holiday season. Also tonight, the economic impact of a relatively modest cost of living increase in Social Security benefits. And we'll hear about how small local businesses are gearing up for the holiday shopping season. Those stories and more next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your public television station.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Maricopa County Attorney Rachel Mitchell joins us each month to address issues involving her office. And tonight our discussion includes retail and other scams that target consumers during the holidays. We welcome Maricopa County Attorney Rachel Mitchell to Arizona Horizon. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Thanks for being. I want to get to the scams here in a second. We got a couple other things I want to touch on first. And the video of this gentleman being literally punched while being held by security guards. He winds up losing his life. He winds up being killed. The guy who looks as though he's doing the punching while the other man is restrained, no charges. Why not?
You know, I wanted to review that one personally after other attorneys had made it, and it's a difficult case. It's a tragic case. I reviewed that from a multitude of angles, not all of which are on online that I've seen. And by the way, there are a couple of security guard cases. This is not the one where they take the man to the edge of the event when he's on his knees. This is one where somebody is still up and swinging. And what we could see from some of the other angles is the victim, and he's still the victim. I mean, he lost his life in this, but he is a large man. He's 6'5". And there is a security guard trying to restrain him, but he is still fully throwing punches. He punches another person who is affiliated with the security guards and is punched, and then almost immediately after that is when the other individual comes up and punches him. But he is not secure. He is not restrained. And in fact, his girlfriend is intervening at that moment. She's trying to wedge herself between the security guard and him and also jump on the security guard's back. The problem is this: in Arizona, we have to show that once they say that there's a self-defense claim or a defense of others, which is what this is, we have to be able to rebut that to a unanimous jury beyond a reasonable doubt. And the decision is mine, but the unanimous recommendation was that that is not going to suffice in this case.
It would seem as though, again, from a distance, watching this, it's a troubling video to watch here. It would seem as though he was restrained enough to where that particular action wasn't entirely necessary. Again, that's the visual, that's what you're seeing, and what the result is: no criminal consequences, no manslaughter, no nothing. Well,
first of all, he is still facing criminal consequences for giving information that may not be true on his employment card. So that's still under review. Actually, we've asked the police to do more investigation. But from the other angle, what we could see is he was still in the fight at the time that security guard came in, and the one that was trying to hold on to him did not have him secured.
Last question on this, actually a couple last questions on this. The attorney for the family calls your decision, called it ludicrous, and says it calls into question the relationship between prosecutors, between police, and security guards. How do you respond to that?
Well, what I would respond to that is the individual that's representing the family is also someone who works as a defense counsel, and if he were representing this individual who threw the punch, I'm sure that we would get quite a different statement, because he's very aware of the self-defense laws in Arizona, and it is very hard to overcome that when somebody is in the fight.
This is my last question on this point. We're finding out the Arizona Republic did a really deep dive on this guy that we saw throwing the punch, and found that he's got a troubling background. Does that background factor into your decision?
Yes and no. It factors in the sense that I want to know everything about the person that I'm making a decision on. But I also have to make the decision, is it likely that any of that will come into trial? And absent it being relevant in some particular way, it's not going to come into trial. And there was nothing about his background that made me think that any of that would be admissible at trial. So the jury would not hear that.
All right. Something else before we get to retail scams.
Okay.
Road rage. And I know this is something that's also been in the headlines here. And why does it... First of all, are we seeing more violent road rage, I guess redundant, incidents out there? Because it seems, and half the time, it seems like there's a child in either or both vehicles. What's going on?
You know, we don't track crimes by, road rage versus other types of assault or murder. But anecdotally, I can tell you, we're seeing more of it. And you're exactly right. We're seeing kids in the cars. You know, we had that Tempe case not too long ago where the child filmed his father getting shot. And the person who did the shooting had his daughter in the car. Just this weekend, we had an 8-year-old killed.
So how do you go about prosecuting or looking at prosecuting something like this? How do you prove or disprove self-defense?
Well, in the Tempe case, we filed charges in that situation, and the grand jury did not indict. I think because neither party had completely clean hands in that. The person who was shot got out of his car and was coming toward the shooter, and that's what happened. But in most cases, and this is a little bit of a bone I have to pick with the media. They cover that because it's the exception. But the rule is, in most cases, we are able to show that it is not self-defense, and we do charge it.
And wait, real quickly, what do you have to show? What do you have to prove?
We have to show, that they either intentionally placed another person in fear for their life, or maybe they fired a weapon, or maybe there is a death, like we had 2 deaths this weekend. And then we have to be able to show beyond a reasonable doubt that it's not self-defense. A lot of these cases are caught on video as well, so we can show what exactly happened. But the Tempe case, like I said, neither party had completely clean hands, and that was, I think, the problem the grand jury had with it.
All right. Retail and gift card. I knew we'd get there sooner or later.
Okay.
Retail and gift card scams this time of the year. Always a biggie. Are we seeing more? Are we seeing less? And how does the internet, how does social media, just everything with digital play into all this?
Well, and the other thing I would add is AI.
Yes.
Is making things much more realistic, looking to people, so it's much easier to scam them. We are seeing an increase. We're probably going to see even more of an increase during the holiday season. So gift cards, people need to be wary about that. If they're picking them out off of a display, they need to make sure that there's no signs of tampering. It's also best if it's a store that will give you a secondary PIN number at the register when you check out. Otherwise, somebody could have recorded that number, and the money you put on it will be gone before you can give the gift.
And how often are we seeing these things?
Well, I know one grocery store in Arizona is reimbursing people who suffer a loss, and they're paying $1 million a month as an example.
All right, that's gift card. As far as retail stuff and as far as the internet is concerned and giving out information, what do you watch? First of all, what are you seeing and what are you hearing? And what do you watch for?
Anything that involves cryptocurrency, anything that involves paying with gift cards, things that involve paying through an app such as an app that you can transfer money through, or a bank transfer. Those are the fastest ways that we are seeing people lose money. And what I would say is this: go with a gut instinct. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. That's often your first warning. If you have questions, talk to a friend, see what they think about it. But no legitimate company is going to call you and say, give me your bank card number, give me your credit card number. Don't do it.
And when they ask for birth date, when they ask for social security number, those sorts of things, that should be raising all sorts of red flags.
Absolutely. Don't give that kind of information. Driver's license, etc.
Do you see more of that this time of year, or is it pretty much year-round?
It's year-round, but we do see more of it this time of year, especially at the gift cards, because that's when people are going to be buying those things.
Is there a place to go? I think the gift card thing, you go to the grocery store, you see them on these carousels, and who knows what you're getting there.
Right.
And you say you can take them to the self-help, the customer service area, or the cashier, and just say, what, give me another number here?
Some businesses have a 2-step process. So you get it off the carousel, but there's a PIN number that has to be provided at the register to make that activated. And that way, if somebody has taken it off the carousel and recorded the number, they won't have that PIN number. That makes it a little bit more safe.
All right, Rachel Mitchell, Maricopa County attorney. Good to see you again. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to see you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
This is the most powerful weapons system known at this time.
This is the first combat submarine. Cutting-edge technology, The science that helped shape history. Revolutionary War Weapons on Nova.
Wednesday night at 8 on Arizona PBS.
On Secrets of the Dead, a young girl travels to the new world, but she finds a colony in disarray. Was she the victim of a terrible fate?
Could this be a murder?
Jamestown's Dark Winter on Secrets of the Dead.
Wednesday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
I'm Chef Mark Tarbell. Welcome to Check Please Arizona, the show where Arizona residents recommend their favorite restaurants.
Thursday night at 7 on Arizona PBS.
The cost of living adjustment for Social Security benefits, known as COLA, is set to increase by 2.8% for 2026. That's a touch more than last year, but nowhere near the increases back when inflation was much higher. Financial planner Jay Spector is co-CEO and founding partner of EverVest, and he's here to join us and tell us all about this guy. It sounds to me like it's at least, what was it, 2.5 last year?
2.5, 2.6 last year.
2.8 this year. That is basically because of inflation, right?
Correct. So you've seen during the COVID timeframe, we had increases of north of 5%. One year we had 8.3%. And that's due to, third quarter inflation numbers that the Social Security Administration uses to peg future increases to Social Security.
So 2.8%, I think I read where it's like maybe averages out to $56 a month or something along. It's not bad, but that's not enough to pay for a lot of stuff that's going on out there, is it?
Sure, no, it's between $50 to $60 a month, but you have to think Medicare increases are going to be more than that. So most retirees are not going to see a real substantial increase to their Social Security, and it's really not meant to provide a huge increase. It's supposed to help with the rising cost of goods, but most retirees' cost of living is much higher than what kind of the average American's cost of living is.
And if it was much higher last year, a 2.8% increase probably is not going to keep the head much more above water, will it?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, you've got rising inflation in food, in medical services, prescriptions, and so forth, and that's going to completely erode what those retirees are going to experience this year coming up.
And are those things increasing more than 2.8%?
Absolutely, they're increasing. For retirees, they're increasing more. For the general public, it's increasing as well, but in particular, retirees who are oftentimes on fixed income.
So for those folks who are on fixed income, what do you tell them? Do the best you can. Obviously, do the best you can. But as far as $50, $60 a month, what do you advise?
Well, right now we're in the Medicare open enrollment period, so they have an opportunity to shop some of their Medicare supplemental plans to see if they can reduce the cost of their medical coverage. They obviously have to be keen shoppers and keenly aware of what their expenses are and see where they can cut expenses if their funds aren't getting stretched as long as they were before. But I think the biggest thing for retirees is to get a handle on where their medical insurances, their supplemental insurance, and see if they can shop that around for better coverage.
Is that something that is often either neglected or not put on top shelf with retirees?
Absolutely. People have a set it and forget it attitude. They really need to focus on, hey, this is what I'm paying for my Medicare insurance. Let me see what other benefits are that are out there. Do I reduce benefits? Do I increase benefits? All in a way to save some resources.
There was some talk, I think, among those in the Trump administration regarding maybe, perhaps, looking at privatizing Social Security. We obviously have Medicare issues as well that are out there. The solvency of both of these programs, what are you seeing?
So I don't really see that Social Security is going to go bankrupt. I think, what we're going to see is that about 75 to 80% of payroll taxes cover Social Security benefits. So unless Congress acts, by the mid-30s, so in about 10 years, if Congress acts to either increase the age of benefit, the benefit age, which is right now 67 for full retirement age for Social Security. If they reduce benefits, unfortunately, that's another option they have. But they have other ways to increase the payroll tax or increase the limit that is subject to the Social Security tax.
Are you expecting any of those things, especially rising for increasing the age for full retirement?
Well, that's a great question because we have to see what the government, we're facing another government shutdown potentially in January, and it's all over the Affordable Care Act and subsidies for families who are going to experience major increases in their own health insurance. I think it's a can they keep kicking down the street.
The COLA increase that we started our conversation with, how much does that impact the economy? Can you see that rippling in other areas?
I think you're seeing the increase in the other expenses that retirees have, whether it's food and prescription drugs, medical insurance, housing expenses. Property taxes are still going up at a much higher clip, 6 to 8% higher than what the cost of living increase is that they're getting in Social Security.
So those who are retired right now and will be seeing that $50 to $60 average increase, what do you tell them? What's the best advice?
Well, first, they need to get, like anybody planning for retirement, they really need to get a handle on what their budget is. And once they understand what their debits and credits are, what income is coming into them, and then what's going out on a monthly basis, then they can make appropriate adjustments. And that's going to be, what is their medical coverage? At what level do they have medical coverage? What are their other expenses? If you have a cable or satellite dish bill, can you go to a lower level in order to save some dollars each month? So it really is get a handle on what your budget is first before you make those decisions.
And you kind of answered this already, but for those planning to retire here in the next few years, same advice?
Absolutely. Get a handle on what your budget is, understand what your future retirement income scenario looks like, so you make sure you can plan to retire when you want to and have those resources to live the lifestyle you're accustomed to.
Last question before you go. What question do you get most from folks who are retired or planning to retire?
I get the budget question. Is, we're spending this X amount of dollars each month. How do I convert my portfolio into an income generating portfolio so that I can continue to live the lifestyle in retirement that I have been living? How do we do that? That's the biggest question.
Jay Spector, EverVest founding partner. Good information. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
baby, you're no good. I'm gonna say it again, you're no good, you're no good, you're no good, baby, you're no good.
I'm Amna Nawaz. Tonight on the NewsHour, how the Department of Government Efficiency, once led by Elon Musk, is being decentralized. That's coming up at 6 on Arizona PBS.
The holiday shopping season is upon us, and one Arizona organization is focusing on highlighting local businesses around the state with a goal of encouraging customers to do their shopping within Arizona communities. The organization is called Local First Arizona, and Kimber Lanning is the CEO. And welcome to Arizona Horizon. You're not just, this is your baby. How long have you been involved? How did this get started and how long ago?
Well, thank you for having me. And I founded the organization 23 years ago.
Wow.
Really because I wanted local businesses to have a voice, to have a seat at the table. And I didn't imagine at that time that we'd go to build the largest local business coalition in the country, but that's exactly what we've done. And I think it's because people here, they've moved from somewhere else. And a lot of times that somewhere else, they behaved in a total localized manner. And we need to work hard in Arizona to connect those people to our local businesses.
Over the years, talk about where things were when you started and where things are now.
Sure. One statistic I love to share is that we had 2 chain restaurants for every 1 local restaurant when we started. And today, the opposite is true. We have 2 locally owned restaurants for every 1 chain restaurant. So, there are many, many ways we can point to having a strong local economy. But people need to remember that the more they support those local businesses, it keeps dollars recirculating right here at home.
Indeed. I think, was it like 3 times the money you spend as far as circulating around and accelerating?
That's exactly right. And people, again, we don't realize it, but we're spending money online with a big corporation that's far away. That money just gets extracted and doesn't often come back to our communities. But if you support a local business, oftentimes they're going to have a local bookkeeper, a local website developer, a local graphic design firm, contributed that logo that they have. And that keeps dollars recirculating. It's called the multiplier effect, and it's a powerful thing.
The holiday message from Local First Arizona is skip the predictable and give local. Talk to us about that.
Well, there's so many great deals out there to be had. So we just want to encourage people to try their local businesses. A good example would be Wilderness Brewing. You buy a $100 gift card, you get a $25 one. What kid wouldn't love a skateboard? And, Cowtown Skateboards is a great way to go. There's so many local choices out there for keeping those dollars local, and you're going to get great customer service and, support it.
How important is the holiday season, this time of year, to a local and or small business?
Well, remember that local businesses are not a monolith, but for our retailers and our restaurants, it's everything. I mean, so many local businesses count on the holiday season to really prop them up, especially when our summer months here in Arizona, our restaurants are experiencing, our summer used to be 3 months. Yeah. It is now 6 months.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times when, folks are just too hot, they're too exhausted to go out, that impacts all of us. So this time of year, we are stocking up, and we are counting on community members to come on out.
Yes, and you say we are. You're a local business, and you've been a local business owner for a long time.
That's right, 38 years. And that's one of the things that I think makes Local First work is that I know what people are going through. Mm-hmm. I know what it is to go through a really difficult summer where, I sell a product that melts in the summertime, so you got to keep your eyes peeled for that. But absolutely, local businesses take all different types of forms. And the more we can support our local restaurants and retailers during the holiday season, the more they in turn keep their dollars with other local enterprises like business service providers.
Now, we can go to your website and find a whole list of folks involved, local owned and run businesses in a variety of ways in a variety of industry sectors, right?
Absolutely. So we have a directory with about 6,000 businesses at shoplocalfirstaz.com. shoplocalfirstaz.com, and you can search by, for those people that are watching from around the state, We've got, you know, a team in Tucson, Flagstaff, Payson, wherever you're headed. We're going to have some local businesses for you.
And I know that you emphasize things like experiences, not instead of things, but along with things. Desert
sure.
Botanical Garden, that's an experience. You can give that as a gift.
Absolutely. Desert Botanical Garden, anything. You know, the Phoenix Zoo, the Phoenix Art Museum memberships. We have things for, you know, people who are into fitness. We have everything from, I mentioned, skateboarding to Pilates, to yoga studios, to soul sports running. It depends on what kind of person you have in your family, but we truly have something for everyone.
And giving local. We talked about gift cards earlier, I should say, but giving local gift cards, big deal.
Oh, it's a big deal. Gift cards are the way to go, and you know, I'm amazed at how many great specials there are. Mostly buy one, get one. You know, I mentioned Wilderness Brewing has a great deal out right now that if you buy a $100 gift card, you get a $25 bonus card.
Not bad. All right, once again, where do you go on the internet, on the information superhighway here?
Yeah.
We're old enough to remember that. Where do you go and what do you see? Did you just a drop-down list, right?
Well, it's a directory that's easy to search at shoplocalfirstaz.com. Enter in what you're looking for, and we're going to help you find it.
All right, Kimber Lanning, Local First Arizona, congratulations on all the years of doing this and continued success.
Thank you so much.
And that is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Hi, I'm Catherine Anaya, host of Horizonte. Have you signed up for the Arizona PBS Conexión e-newsletter? Visit azpbs.org/Conexión to subscribe to the monthly resource created to serve Arizona's vibrant Hispanic community. Conexión highlights Latino-focused Arizona PBS programming and features learning resources for kids, details on upcoming events, important headlines, and a brief column from yours truly.
On Finding Your Roots, actors Pamela Adlon
I don't want to disrespect my lineage, but I'm so curious.
and Catherine Hahn.
What a frickin' story!
Finding Your Roots.
Tonight at 7 on Arizona PBS.
In this year's Lydia Celebrates America, I'm setting out to meet volunteers. Kiki, we're in your kitchen. Extending their hands.
We're all part of one neighborhood.
And sharing